Okay, so I'm recording this for posterity. Should we just change the title of the podcast from Electric Tangents to Do You Like Us? Do you like us? Am I masking correctly to be tolerable to you?
I mean,
the
Do
other
You
human?
Like Us is good.
Do you like
it's
us?
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I was actually going to bring up with you the name. As much as I like, it sounds like a 70s prog rock album.
It does.
Title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You haven't heard Electric Tangents? Oh, those
my
guys
God.
rule.
Yeah. Did you catch them?
Yeah, the kind of band that I would school everybody at our work about. It's like, I can't believe you guys don't know Electric Tangents. All you guys talk about is Harry Styles.
Exactly. You'd be like trying to give me a lecture on electric tangents, and I'm like, Damian, I know that you've insulted that Taylor Swift has more than one writer in the room. Does Bing Bang from Electric Tangents only write by himself?
Yeah, of course, Bing Bang. He's a genius.
Fucking Bing Bang.
Fucking Bing Bang. We just started the podcast. We might as well keep going.
Exactly.
Although I need to pee so bad.
Okay, go piss, girl. Just go piss, girl.
How do we press pause here?
I don't know. Do we just stop, press the record?
They're building a new train line,
Yeah.
a train station.
Yeah.
But
Very
they just
interesting to the autistics. Go on.
They just shut down the train line all of January.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah, you probably would have.
It's not ideal.
No,
everyone's talking about it.
but like, how am I meant to get to work? I just got to drive. I've got to pay an extra $1,000. Anyway, are we recording? We're recording.
You were
Let me
recording.
put my
I
head.
just kind of went for it.
Yeah. We just got to jump into the deep end, I think.
Dive.
Okay, so we're officially changing the name of the podcast from Electric Tangents to Do You Like Us?
Do you like us?
Yeah. I think that's, I'm just going to turn myself down slightly.
Am I too loud or am I all right?
No, I think we're fine.
Okay, cool.
Listen, it's our first episode. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Whatever.
This is great. This is really good. It's very exposing to anyone who's listening of we're trying to make it seem really normal to the outside that we're doing this. And then on the inside, it's like, are we doing it right?
Yeah, even that last sentence I said of who knows, who cares? That's a complete lie.
Yeah.
I completely care. I will have this in Audacity for weeks. But I'll be producing it like a Radiohead album. It'll take 7 years to come out.
Do you like us? Coming to you in 2033?
I like that podcast, but God, it's a long break between
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah. 1 30-minute drop every 7 years.
So the point of our podcast is AJ has ADHD and I got diagnosed with autism last year. And if you know me, you would have heard because it's all I talk about now. Well, since I got my diagnosis, although it's meant that I've stopped talking about my sobriety. So maybe my friends are pleased in some shape or form. Since I got sober.
What's more tolerable to the general public, do you feel? Conversations about sobriety, especially in Australian culture, or conversations about autism?
I think, well, honestly, I don't think Australians like talking about either.
No, that's fair.
I don't think Australians like talking about anything.
I mean, yeah, no. I took my diagnosed autistic wife to a party last night where she was sober and she spent most of the night talking about Taylor Swift. So no one was asking her about being sober or autistic.
Yeah, you kind of have to find, and I realized after I got the diagnosis, but I did realize after I got the diagnosis, oh, yeah, so the drinking was probably helping with masking.
Yeah.
100%. Because the minute I got all of this is kind of wrapped up in each other anyway, because I got sober and I dated this girl for a bit who worked at Headspace. And, it's like one of those TikTok memes where people kept asking me if I was autistic.
Just show up and it's like, oh, is Damian, is he autistic?
Yeah. And so I think she might have been autistic herself. On our third date, she came over to my house because this was in the middle of lockdowns and COVID and blah, blah. So we were we nominated each other as bubble buddies, and she came over and da, da. And she came over with this spectrum test, basically.
Oh, like Radzar?
Yeah. And I aced it. With
Aced it.
Yeah, it was 100%. It's
did
you
it
are
so
100%
good.
autistic. And I was just dismissive of it. I was like, no, whatever. It's not, you know what I mean? It's I think what you're seeing there is intelligence. It's not, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Not that the two can't coexist.
But it didn't leave my head.
Yeah.
And then you're on social media, and because like you're more interested in it, it's like more and more of it starts showing up in your feed.
For sure.
And there were just things that were, the sensory stuff in particular, that got like, once I'd gotten sober, I noticed it.
Yeah.
Like sound and light and stuff was fucking killing me. And
Yeah.
then I think back to like most of my 20s and 30s, every second day at work I was hungover.
Yeah.
Like I had a pretty bad drinking problem. But then when I think about that now, the way that I was feeling, a lot of it is burnout.
Yeah.
Because I'd spent the whole night the night before socializing, loud space, bright spaces, plus the drinking and smoking cigarettes. That doesn't help either. But then the next day you've got to come into a completely floodlit office. We work in call centers, so it's just this low hum of people screaming the whole day. Well, it is,
It
right?
is. It really is.
And then I'd go home and pass out.
Yeah.
And so like the more I think about it, it's like, well, of course. There's stories of me early on when we first started going out, me and my mates, of me falling asleep in nightclubs. Like we would party for so long that I would pass out. And I'm pretty sure that was just through overstimulation, right? Like it's not because we were taking illicit drugs. We were taking speed and ecstasy and shit, and I would fall asleep.
That's very ADHD coded of you.
Well, I got zero on, like Kelly, my wife, my
wife,
keeps saying, I'm pretty sure you're ADHD.
Well, that's actually a really interesting thing that we can talk about.
I got zero on the test though.
Yeah, but I mean, you didn't, like, was it like an online test or did you?
No. This is with once I got the actual diagnosis, because everything was very high.
Yeah.
And the ADHD, I was expecting something.
Yeah, there's a major crossover.
Zero.
AUDHD.
Yeah, zero.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
I'm not going to lie. There was a part of me that was like, yes, because I wanted to be able to go home to Kelly and be like, see, I told you, there's nothing there.
Kelly, if you listen to this podcast, which
Won't.
Okay, well, Kelly, I really hope you do. If you do listen to this podcast, if you ever want to leave him, I'm not available. Shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, that's not going to work. I can't offer myself.
She threatens it every day.
But she doesn't come good on the throat, which is good. I have two things.
She's a homebody.
I have two things I want to highlight. Firstly, don't drag precious cigarettes into your hate train.
What do you mean?
When you were like, well, I was drinking a lot and smoking a lot of cigarettes.
Oh, I just found my hangovers were 1,000 times worse when I smoked.
Oh, that's definitely because of the smoking. No, but don't blame precious cigarettes.
No, Kelly and I will talk. Even last night, Kelly was like, should we just buy a packet? We'll just buy a packet and split it. No.
No, neither of you should smoke.
No.
Everyone should smoke all the time. Smoking is the best.
If there were no consequences to it, I would be smoking right now.
Oh, could you imagine?
In the studio.
It would be beautiful. We should go back to the 70s to record this podcast so we can smoke at the same time.
Well, it's not even the 70s. Like, I remember recording when I played in bands, so that's like the noughties.
Yeah.
Sitting at the mixing desk fucking smoking.
That's beautiful.
Right?
Yeah, I'm too young for that.
I remember, because Australia was on the forefront of all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I was at Cherry the night the laws came in, and at 12 o'clock, they just came out and took all the ashtrays away.
Sad. That my only remembrance of change for smoking laws was because I used to go and eat on Lygon Street a lot. And so you could smoke outside and smoke and eat pasta and just sit there and enjoy coffee and smoke.
Yeah.
And then they took away the you can't smoke where there's food being consumed.
Yeah.
And so it killed outdoor eating culture.
Yeah. I mean, I'm now at a point where as an ex-smoker, I can understand people who don't smoke wanting to sit in outdoor.
They can sit inside.
Yeah, I know. I know. But at the same time, I can understand you're eating a meal.
Yeah.
And then
fair.
someone lights up a cigarette. And if you're grossed out by it, then,
the joy that I experience every time I get to have food and a cigarette at the same time.
Yeah, God, that sounds amazing. I would always smoke after
Always.
dinner.
Yeah, always.
Amazing
I also
stuff.
don't smoke anymore.
Yeah, at all?
I mean, no, I vape.
Right.
And I'll have the occasional cigarette. I had 4 last night. Don't tell Zach whose pack I stole them directly out of.
Do you think there's a higher propensity for people on the spectrum like us I really think I have no proof of this. I've seen a few people on TikTok who purport to have doctorates talk about like, oh, there's a higher instance of addiction with people on the spectrum.
Oh, 100%.
But there must be, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. And I think a lot of it comes from trying to mask and trying to it is very easy to step away from a social situation where I feel uncomfortable or like I don't know how to be in that circumstance and be like, I'm going to go have a cigarette.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go quickly pop out for a vape.
That's 100% what I use cigarettes for.
Exactly. I can excuse myself from like anything. And lots of times if the people that you're around don't smoke and now don't vape, they're not going to follow you. So you can just have that moment of like, oh, thank God, I can bring myself down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely used alcohol for that. I definitely use cigarettes for that. And what's funny is, this is sort of an ongoing joke conversation at work, but I can't help myself but go to fast food restaurants at lunch. And it's hard to explain to someone who's not neurodivergent, but I'm using Macca's or KFC or whatever. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm stepping away. I'm going to because, everyone's very cool and hip at our work. So no one's going to be there. No one else is going to be at Macca's.
Yeah, no one's. So, for some context for listeners at home who don't know what Damian and I do, we work in an office in Collingwood. So going to the McDonald's when you've got all of like Smith Street available to you, no one's going to Macca's.
It's fucking gross. Like I it's dumb. Like I'm sure I will look back on my time. I'm not leaving anytime soon, but when I do, I will look back on my time like I worked in Collingwood for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it is. And I went to fucking McDonald's every day.
Yeah, but at least it's not a $23 sandwich.
Well, that's the other thing as well. But it's more about just being able to have my headphones on. There's no one from work there. There's no danger of anyone from being from work there and not being perceived for 15 minutes.
Yeah. It's hard, especially the office that we work in because we do work in call centres is floodlit and it's full of noise all day. And there's, even if you are sitting with headphones on and trying to exist in your own little world, there's still, 30 other people around you and everyone wants to have a chat.
Yeah, which is not...
But that's the thing, right? I love to have a chat. I'm probably the yappiest person in our office, I would say. I'm yappy with everyone. I chat a lot. But I still have moments where I'm like, please, quiet now. I need my brain to come back down.
Yeah, there's just not... I will say this for... I'm not going to mention who our employer is, but I will say for the most part, they're a lot more... they've been a lot more considerate and accommodating to my autism than I thought they would be. But I still think, and this isn't necessarily I was just about to flat out say the company we work for. This isn't having a go at them.
Beep.
But just in general, like Australian workforces in general, there's, unless you have had the diagnosis yourself or gone through it yourself or you have a partner that does or a kid that does, no one knows and no one cares.
Yeah.
And I think there's still a big element of that's bullshit. People are using it, especially the work from home debate that is raging in Australia at the moment. Most government, or like my wife's being dragged back into, she works in the public service. She's been dragged back into the office after 5 years of working from home full time, like just out of nowhere. Like, this year we're working in the office 3 days a week and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So people are angry about that. And I think there's numerous different discussions to have about it, like people who have kids, people who live, the idea of having a center, a central business district, but the vast majority of people who work jobs like ourselves, I live in Werribee. Yeah. Which is an hour and a half commute on a good day.
Yeah, on a very good day.
And there's other people in our work who live in the same area, or they might live on the east of whatever. So all of those things that could be fixed by, or the environmental impact of 3 million Victorians getting up and going into the city every day in their car or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is also these other parts of society that just completely looked over in these conversations, like people who have ADHD, people who have autism, and working from home makes such a huge difference to their day-to-day standard of living. And it just doesn't you can have those individual conversations with employers, and I've been lucky to have one that, for the most part, will at least have the conversation with me about where I'm at, if I'm on burnout or whatever.
Absolutely.
But not everyone's that lucky.
No.
And
I think, and I was thinking this earlier, that the pandemic is a really good point because everybody's routine got broken very, very quickly, which I think for a lot of people was like a real trigger of like, oh, there's something more going on here. So I got diagnosed midway through the pandemic because the second I lost my routine, I completely fell apart.
Yeah.
Like I could no longer do anything. I couldn't structure anything myself. I couldn't figure it out because I'd lived within such a rigid structure that really worked for me for such a long time. The second it changed, I was like, oh, I can't manage this at all. There is something. I cannot focus on anything unless I have this like very good structure that I'm very good at following. And I mean, you know what I'm like. I get up very early every day and I have like a very set structure to how I do every single task because that works for me to manage keeping myself on track and on task. And if I don't have that, yeah. And so the first time that really happened where I'd lost it as an adult was during the pandemic because everything shut down. And I think that's what led to like everybody going through this thing of acknowledging that there are things, because a lot of people got diagnosed because of the pandemic or during the pandemic because we all very quickly had to change everything about our lives. And so it was easier to find the gaps of where, oh, some people are doing really well and some people are really thriving and I cannot figure this out at all now. And that change. And it did bring in working from home, which then people want to look at it like, oh, you just want to keep that luxury of like, no, I actually figured out how to make my life work for me. And like I actually figured out how I can be successful in the world. And it's just I don't sit in an office.
But you prefer
I
being
prefer
in an office,
definitely.
Right? Is that because of that structure of like
100%.
My alarm goes off at 6 a.m. but then I'm on the train at 6:45 and then I'm or whatever it might be.
Yeah, so my entire days in my head are all mapped out, every single point that I'm going to hit, and everything happens at basically the same time because if it doesn't, I tend to lose track very quickly and then I tend to just get kind of really off track very, very quickly and will just kind of devolve into I can't do anything and it becomes executive dysfunction to like a higher tier of like I'll just sit at my desk and be like, right, I know how to breathe because that's a human activity, but I do not know how to do anything that I do know how to do if I get even slightly out of my own routine. So for me, I need that routine, but I also have a partner who is autistic and I'm like, that would not work for her. Yeah. That would be impossible for her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, we were having this conversation before we started recording, but I've been on leave for the last week and a half, and my wife, like 4 days into me being on leave, was like, we need to find a way where you don't work.
Yeah.
Because you are so much happier and nicer when you're not working. And it's funny because you say stuff like that, people get so fucking angry. They get so defensive and angry.
Hell no.
They do though.
I know.
Like,
I know.
You know, because immediately, so many people, I've been doing a lot of reading about men recently, so we won't even get. That's a whole other.
If you'd
thing,
like to open the door, Dames, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Here.
Well, my wife. If you follow my wife on social media, you know that I live in a pretty fucking feminist household. But like, the older you get, and the more that I have conversations with Cal about stuff, and wanting to be a good person and improve and stuff. You look back on your own actions. I think thankfully I was pretty good as a dude, but there's still, my sister all the time would be like, "You're a fucking misogynist," and and I would rail against that. But then looking back in my 20s, I probably wasn't. Anyway,
I talked about this at length yesterday, and we could definitely go into it. Perhaps we have like a secondary podcast where I just talk about what you're actually experiencing is internalized misogyny about yourself. And it's because of the way that you're like raised and taught to view feminine traits within yourself that you shut those parts of you down and you don't ever want to give them time or space because it's like taught that it's weak and that women are weak, which is not true.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I definitely agree with that. That's definitely a truth. I was just thinking about it in terms of my family. I don't know. My dad's not like that. My grandpa, who did a lot of heavy lifting early on, because my dad was going through stuff, he wasn't like that either. Yeah. And then the rest of the family were mainly women. So I think I was, My sister also had high standards, which she should.
Yes, definitely.
But anyway,
back
what
to
were we
you
talking
being
about?
you being a kept husband.
No, just work. Like, I couldn't think of anything better. If Kelly came home and was like, I'm now earning $250,000 a year, I'd be like, I am not working and I don't care what the consequences are.
I mean, Chelsea, my partner, she doesn't work.
Yeah.
I think every time she's tried it, it's been a horrific experience for her because she can't mask like that. She can't keep it up like that.
It's hard. It's interesting. Sorry to talk over this. I was just going to say, like, things that I thought were personality traits, like, you've got an Irish temper, a Scottish temper. Now that I've had this diagnosis, like, well, no, that's me snapping.
Yeah.
And when would this stuff happen? It would be on public transport, in the workplace, driving, like
anything where it's switched on.
Yeah.
There's more
crowds of people at the pub, at the footy. I never, I've never at any point playing video games or reading a book just out of nowhere being like, fucking, like that's never, right?
Yeah.
That's never happened.
Yeah.
So it's harder and it's hard. I got my diagnosis at 46, so it's hard to start talking to people and say, listen, it's harder for me to go to work than it is for you. And all of it's invisible.
Yeah.
No one really wants to. It's like, well, you've been doing all this for 46 years. You've been fine. It's like, I haven't been fucking fine. I've had drug addiction problems. I've had alcohol addiction problems. I've never had a relationship that's lasted longer than 2 years up until when I got with Cal.
Yeah.
Right? Like it hasn't been easy.
No, and I think that's why for me, I'm like the pandemic, it was the worst thing that ever happened, but it was also like a really like highlight moment for everyone to be like, because once you could take a step back from how you'd been forcing yourself to survive because that was the expectation of survival, it was then much easier to say, there's something not right here.
Well, all these things happened at once. So like the pandemic, my grandpa had just passed away.
Yeah.
He left me a large amount of money. And I was living in his house as well because I was sort of helping my mum look after him in the final stages and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic happened. I had this money from my grandpa. I just started going back to uni and I went to my mum and was like, listen, I've got this money in the bank. I'm not paying rent. I fucking hate this job. I'm going to quit it.
Yeah.
And just study full time. And so I had this glorious like year and a half, 2 years during the pandemic at the same time of being financially secure, not having to pay rent, and then not being forced into social situations. So I had like 2 years to just look inward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And really like focus on what you needed and how to make things work for you rather than.
And I did all the things that everyone else did of like, I learned how to bake bread. I learned how to cook properly. I learned how to play guitar better.
I did not learn any of those things.
Watched every Fast and Furious movie. Like, all the.
I had to uninstall TikTok from my phone because I would get stuck in loops where I literally could not get out of it for like 2 or 3 hours at a time.
I've been on TikTok so much.
No,
recently.
Just get rid of
fucked.
it. It's a brain rot factory.
But
especially if you're neurodivergent because it gives you instant dopamine. It's like every video is another hit of dopamine that your brain doesn't get otherwise.
Yeah, and I can feel that physically, but also there's a lot of stuff that I've learned through TikTok that I wouldn't have learned otherwise.
And
with my neurodivergence and then other things that we're not legally allowed to say in Australia anymore.
Good point.
Yeah.
Fair point. Yeah, right. We're in Australia now, so we can't talk about anything.
No, we're not allowed to talk about watermelons or anything like that.
Just fuck.
Yeah.
The
Anyway,
world is on fire.
Yeah, and I think the reason why, I wanted to do a podcast with you because I knew it would be fun, but I thought it was when I got the diagnosis, because I love podcasts, I was like, oh man, I'm going to listen to all these autistic podcasts and they're going to be great. And they weren't. They just weren't. No offense. I'm sure people have come at me and go, you should listen to this one. You should listen to this one. The ones I found were either for kids, like parents of kids who have autism, fine, but that's a completely different thing to an adult diagnosis.
Thing, yeah. Is that you dinging?
That is me dinging. Sorry. I'm just going to.
Listeners at home, I'm so sorry for
so
Damian's watch.
unprofessional.
He's so rude.
Or they were for adults, but they were just so boring. The vast majority of them were doctors just talking, and like they're doing a good job of like,
it's
this
definitely-
is
it's
like, if
important.
this happens, but just no one was having fun
Yeah.
on a podcast talking about being on the spectrum,
Yeah.
right? So that's what I wanted to do. And I feel like the first 25 minutes we've been like, it's so hard. Oh,
It is really hard.
Not one of us has cracked one joke.
No, but I think there's this, like, it's fucking hard. But also, if we put all that weight into being miserable all of the time and to like focus on the parts of it that are bad, we would like let's be real, we'd all have just killed ourselves. That's maybe like not okay for me to have put in this podcast, but like if I spent all of my time focusing on it,
No, it's true. It's real. It's
like
true.
it's if I thought about how I can't do things all the time, I would be fucked. So you have to have an element of just like, fuck it, take the piss out of it.
Yeah.
Like one time my wife said that she wanted to be a train driver, and I to this day am like, that is the most autistic thing you've ever said, right?
But I have
Like,
also, in the last 12 months,
you
applied to be a train
I know.
driver at Big Line.
I know.
And I got real close to getting the job as well.
Yeah. We have another autistic friend who also applied to work at V-Line. I will tell you who off the podcast.
Right.
But we have another autistic friend who's also applied to work at V-Line. Like, it's a fun thing to like, aw, you all love your trains.
Well, if you're on a V line right now, heading to work or school or whatever, just know that you've got an army of specky people looking after you. And honestly, you couldn't be in better hands.
Yeah, you truly
because
could be.
if one person's going to do the job fucking properly, it's someone with autism, to the point where it will drive everyone else in their life fucking mental.
Yo, yeah, no.
Do you want to hear about something specky that I started doing this week? That
Oh,
is,
yeah, go on. Is it killing Kel? Is it killing
She
her?
didn't know about it.
She doesn't know about
You're the
it.
first person
All right,
to know
go
about
on.
it because it's that embarrassing. I have set up spreadsheets
Yeah, go on.
for AEW is a pro wrestling
Yep.
promotion that I watch every week. I now sit there and type out in a spreadsheet the match, a match rating, high spots that happened in the match, who won the match, how long it went for. Yeah.
Great.
And I do this for every single thing. What for? No reason.
You should have got a notebook though, because I really like your childhood stories of autism.
Well,
It's the same thing, but now you're doing it with a
It
new
is the same
interest
thing.
at 46.
That's how I got my foot through the door with my psychologist, because initially I think they were a bit like, well, why do you want to get an autism diagnosis, or what made you think that?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, people have sort of kept mentioning like, maybe you're autistic, some shit like that. And then I was like, they were like, oh, do you have any examples from childhood? And I was like, oh, well, I used to beg my dad to get cricket scoring books from his cricket club so I could score the cricket off the TV for the whole day. How old were you when you were doing this? 6, 7. And then I also had notebooks of, I had invented my own little fantasy football game with football cards.
This is my favorite thing.
So each
It's so
team,
beautiful.
like I had to make sure that I had every player in every team. And then essentially it was kind of a little bit like Dungeons and Dragons. So you had to roll a dice that would determine how far the ball had traveled.
Yeah.
And then you would flip a coin to say whether the disposal was effective or not.
Yeah. I love that. You should market that now to children.
They wouldn't play that. Kids wouldn't bloody play
If you said we've
dicey coiny
dicey coiny.
footy.
No, we've done an AFL Dungeons and Dragons campaign. So this is how the scoring works for that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? I do not have an autism diagnosis, but I feel like I'm in a safe space. And I hope, listeners, that this is a safe space for you too. I get very autistic in, inverted commas, about Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
So you are really you're speaking my language now,
Yes.
of you could make that work in Dungeons and Dragons, because that would just be the scoring method that you would use as you played.
You could, yeah.
This
it's
would
not
genuinely
far off
work.
D&D, how?
No, it's not. That would genuinely work. Oh, you invented AFL Dungeons and Dragons in the 80s.
I did.
Yeah, you really did.
Trademark. TM.
Okay. For sure. I love these spreadsheets for you.
Yes. So, and it gives me this immense sense of calm while I'm doing it. But now this is the problem. And this is the juxtaposition of being autistic because I also have severe anxiety. And I only use that inflection on severe because that's what my psych said. Where you have severe anxiety.
And can I take this moment just to interrupt you to ask, are you medicated for that?
No.
No, we've talked about this before. Obviously, if you don't want to talk about it on the podcast.
No, I don't. If there was no danger, I just worry about addiction issues with anything.
Yeah,
so I just don't.
Fair. I would recommend a low dosage antidepressant to deal with that anxiety because it can be really helpful. It's the reason I'm not on anything to help my ADHD is because I don't want to ever come off my antidepressants.
Yeah, I just don't trust myself to not to take one, feel slightly better, and then take all of them at once.
Oh, you see, that's the good thing with meds like this is that they don't work like that. You don't get an instant reaction. It takes 2 months to build, and then you don't actually notice it doing anything. You just kind of chill out a little bit. Maybe I should look into it. I am really scared of it though. No,
because of,
Yeah, absolutely. That's incredibly valid.
But yeah, now I'm super anxious about watching the wrestling because if I don't do my spreadsheet at the same time, then I'm not doing it properly.
Ah, so you've set rules for how you have to watch the wrestling now.
Yes, but I can't just lay back and enjoy the wrestling because I have to do this work that goes along with it.
Could you?
This is the brain prison that you are in as an autistic person, and no one will understand. And people, NTs will just, neurotypical, will just say, well, stop doing it. Mate.
No, it's not that straightforward.
If you thought I could fucking stop doing, do you think I wouldn't? I would much prefer to just live life being a bogan, middle-aged husband living in Werribee.
You're very good with a barbecue.
Yeah, I'm getting better.
It was pretty good.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
I got a barbecue.
Exactly.
I got my little push bike that I ride down to the shops, you want
to be just a regular guy.
Yeah.
The regular guy.
Yeah, regular Werribee lefty dad, although I don't know how many lefties live in Werribee. But anyway, there's a lot of Australian flags around.
Yeah, but it's a safe Labor seat, isn't it?
It is. I don't know for how much longer. There's a lot of just vibes, just white nationalist vibes. You know what I mean?
No, that's just Australia now.
Yeah, it's not good.
But again, this is not our political podcast.
No, it's not. But it's all wrapped up together. So I wanted to get back to the ADHD thing and structure.
Mm-hmm.
So do you find, just with workplace, because this is a big thing for me. And I think unfortunately we just don't have the money to do it. But if I had the money to do it, I would never work ever again.
Yeah.
And even that, having those conversations with people clutch their pearls so fucking hard where they're like, well, what would you do? What wouldn't I do?
Yeah, literally anything else.
What I've done for the last week and a half. But what I think also, and we will get back to the question I was going to ask you in a second.
Yeah.
I think what I'm starting to realize, and I need to be a bit more forgiving of other people because they're not having the same experience as I am.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking exhausted from workplaces and social interactions and stuff that this 2 weeks that I've had off, I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything.
Recovery.
I've walked to the plaza once. I walked to Watton Street a couple of times. I went on a bike ride once.
Did you walk the dogs?
Yeah, I walk the dogs every day, but I like that.
Yeah.
It's I listen to an audiobook and me and Jim go for a long walk. But that's
Lovely.
Autistic as fuck, right? That's, you know what I mean? Dogs, audiobooks, talking to no one, being on your own.
Yeah. We need to get, and we've talked about doing this, so watch out for future episodes. I need to get my wife in the room so that the two of you can just specky out together.
Yeah, well, it's funny because your wife is autistic.
Yes.
My wife is ADHD.
Yes. And I do think, and this was the thing, because we've been talking about doing this podcast for a very long time.
Long time, yeah.
But that is the thing that really stuck out to me of how well the ADHD and autism work together.
Almost every single person I've met who is openly out about being on the spectrum, if they have a partner, they're the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost always.
Yeah, it's two halves of one whole dysfunctional brain.
Yeah, there's like one proper person in the
There's
in the house.
no, it's definitely not a proper person. Whatever it is that's like the amalgamation of me and my wife is not a proper person.
But I you know, I'm also a little bit of a neurodivergent, like we're the super race people. There's a part of me when I see those psychos come on TikTok. There's a part of me that's like, yeah, we are. We've got superhuman empathy. We've got, our synapses are firing off at 40 to 60% more than an NT. How does that not equate to having a more developed brain?
And then it's like brain so fast, cocaine doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do anything.
Hey.
You can't hurt us.
Can I say, actually, this is super
Trust me, I took speed for days on end, didn't do anything.
Right. Okay. We had a question, and now I want to get really off topic.
Oh, okay.
Just to be like, last night I went to a party, and I was offered my bucket list drug, which is cocaine. I have never done it.
Really?
The only drug I've ever touched, unless we're going to count like caffeine and alcohol as drugs.
Caffeine, fuck off. Get the fuck out of here. If I hear someone say, caffeine's a drug, fuck off. Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, just fuck off. Caffeine's
nerd. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here.
No, truly. But I was at this party last night and I was offered cocaine. Now, I've never done cocaine. It is my bucket list drug. And I was like, no. And the reason I said no, and I was trying to be like, no. And Chelsea was like, oh, do you just not feel safe in this environment? Because she was really trying to encourage me to go for it. And I was like, no, there's no fucking point. Like, I'm just going to do my friend's cocaine. It's not going to do anything for me aside from maybe make me incredibly focused.
Yeah. I mean, cocaine would do stuff. I would get pretty mouthy. But I'm already pretty mouthy anyway.
Yeah, you are.
I just noticed the two guys in the Australian Federal Police uniforms just backed off from the front door of our studio.
Hang on, are you joking?
Yeah, of course I'm joking.
No, I had a serious moment where I was like, we're in a public library. Are the AFP here?
No, they're too busy arresting people for talking about water balance.
Yeah.
They don't care about drug use
anymore.
They're
taking a lot of inspiration from ICE these days. Fuck.
We've already said too much. We're on a list.
Now they are coming in.
We will be on a list. That's a shame. You should at least experience it for, it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, at some point.
I understand the hypocrisy and probably the danger of an ex-drug addict and alcoholic say, you should just try cocaine.
No, it's fine.
What's the worst that can happen?
I'm California sober.
Yeah, but for most people, California's sober.
I smoke a lot of weed. It's the only way, right? And I mean this very genuinely. It's the only way that I have found that my wife has also found. So something that can work for both of us to like chill the fuck out.
I genuinely, in the last month or so, the thought keeps crossing my mind of like, maybe I should try like, medicinal gummies or something.
It can be really helpful. Chelsea finds very much because she is so, I don't know how to word it. That's not just saying high strung.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, she's a little high strung. And so for her, being able to actually like relax her brain, it's beautiful to watch. And then she'll just talk to me.
Yeah.
And she'll just talk and talk and talk after she hasn't spoken for 5 hours because she can't, because if we're outside, it's too overwhelming and like there's too much noise, there's too much light and there's too much going on.
Yeah.
And she needs to be so focused on just like surviving the outdoors of then like, oh, smoke a little weed and we just have a conversation. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And for me, I can slow down.
Yeah.
And I can stay focused on one thing really comfortably.
Yeah.
I love to smoke a little weed and then knit for like 5 hours.
I just would like to be able to watch a movie at home.
Yeah.
Like I'm always just so like pent up. Like even just,
high strung.
Yeah. I don't know if I suffer as much as Chelsea does. Like when you tell me about Chelsea.
She has other stuff. She also has CPTSD. Like she's got an amalgamation of cooked brain.
Yeah. I just can't watch a movie. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I can't even. I think it's like the being perceived thing as well of like sitting down with Cal and then watching a movie. Like I'm terrified of.
Are you having the correct reaction to the part of the film?
Yeah, which Cal is on her phone the whole time anyway, so who cares? Like it doesn't matter.
Sorry, ADHD, we're looking for like every single dopamine hit we can get.
Yes.
We need them constantly.
Yeah. So she'll be like, and she'll have like 17 tabs open at once. Like she's playing RuPaul Drag Race. She's like looking up every actor in the film. She's like, it's all that stuff.
So I right now have 356 tabs open. And if any one of them were to be closed, I would have like I think there's one I can close because it's from stuff I needed yesterday. Okay, we're at 3:54. If any of those were to be closed, I would have like a meltdown.
That's giving me a meltdown. Just
no,
hearing
I need
about
them.
it.
I have 2 hockey games giving me updates at the exact same time. I have like news notifications on for like 7 different sports teams. I need like constant.
Is ice hockey a new thing, or have you always been into ice hockey?
Well, this is such a fascinating question to ask. And it gets into something that's just so very personal to me. I love sport. I went to one ice hockey game last year with someone that we work with. And then I read Heated Rivalry. And then I watched Heated Rivalry. And so I now genuinely just follow the hockey.
I watched it.
Did you watch it?
Well, I watched the first episode.
What did you think?
I like it.
Yeah.
This
is great. This is
so much sex in it.
Right? This is great. You are the first cis-het man that I've got a reaction from because you genuinely watched it. Chris and Jordan, respective cis-het male friends, both refused to watch it. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. And if you listen to this, boys, we love you.
Yeah,
Watch Heated Rivalry.
It's not gonna.
But Shane Hollander is autistic.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
In the show or in real life?
Oh, so the actor, Hudson Williams, is not autistic. His dad is. The character is autistic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do they mention that in the show? Or the first episode they haven't
They don't mention it in the show this season, no.
Right.
It will be mentioned later down the track because it comes up a lot in the second book.
No, I watched it with Cal. We're actually doing it as an episode for our other podcast.
No.
Yeah, so you'll get to hear all about. But I mean,
have you recorded
we both
that
liked
yet?
it. Yeah, we recorded it yesterday.
If you needed a special guest, I was right fucking there.
Oh, well, we could do that.
No.
I definitely want to watch more of it. The sex was like, I mean, it's 2 guys having sex, so that didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I was just more blown away of like, there's so much sex in it because there's so little sex in everything now.
Yeah.
This show just like, it's every 10 minutes there's another sex scene. And I think that's good.
I have a real issue with Puritan culture and the way that especially Gen Z, and this is with full offense Gen Z, have decided that sex for some reason is immoral again. Like we've gone backwards.
Yeah.
And so being able to be like, no, we're queer and we're a bit freaky. Like lean in, embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace human fucking connection.
Or even just from a God, I'm going to like start.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, from a storytelling point of view. It actually does a lot for the story. And if you watch more of it, you'll notice as the season progresses, there's less and less sex. And the sex that they have is entirely different to what you get in like episodes 1 and 2. Episodes 5 and 6 are entirely different.
But it's a romance. Like
it's a fucking romance.
The story is a romance.
Yeah.
Right? So like growing up in the 80s, when 2 people a way of getting an audience on board into like, oh, these guys really like each other is that they would fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you don't see that now.
No.
You just see people they meet and they seem to almost have the same relationship as they do with the quirky best friend. There's nothing
that
what
like,
is the difference?
differentiates
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Right. So from a storytelling point of view, you don't have to have hogs out or boobies out or whatever. I'm just like, just have them kiss naked in bed and then or even just waking up in bed together. Yeah. You don't even see that.
Right. Do you remember the like early, I feel like it was like early 2000s, maybe late noughties, where there was just this influx of romance films? It was like the era of Bridget Jones and Suddenly 30 and Rumor Has It, which is The Graduate.
Yeah, even the Christmas one that everyone hates now, but
the
everyone
holiday.
loved at the time.
Love Actually.
Love Actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched it in a while, but yeah, I loved it so much.
I loved it at the time. We watched it 2 Christmases ago for the podcast I did with my wife.
Yeah.
And
it didn't age well.
Well, there are bits because there's like 6 different stories.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of the stories that don't age well at all.
Yeah.
But then there's the one with Emma Thompson and Alan Rickman
That's fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah. That's a good story. Anyway.
Just super quickly, because we talked about Love Actually, I don't know if you know this. You know how Chelsea has a big tattoo of a cow on the back of her arm?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so underneath that, what that used to be was a crown, a moustache, and then the quote from Love Actually, "To me, you're perfect," that she got with an ex. And the ex got the same tattoo. And it's Viewers at home, listeners at home cannot see Damian's face, but it's the same face that they're doing. Absolutely, without a doubt. Like, it was the worst. Soz babe. But it was really bad. You know it was really bad.
Yeah.
And she got it covered up with a big old cow. So fucking funny. God, the decisions you make when you're young and how they come back to bite you. That influx of romance films, influx of romance films was very much conveyed with, like, no, we weren't seeing sex, but we were definitely seeing, like, couples in bed together and, like, physical touch between
intimacy.
people. Intimacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just a friendship.
Yeah.
I like, it's so crazy to me that in visual storytelling we just don't see this stuff. And I think, I've read and heard plenty of people blame it on China and like
no, I don't think it's that.
Global market and stuff. I don't think it's that at all. I think there's this weird puritanical thing that's been happening in America for it's always been there, but it's bubbled to the surface in the last 25 years, especially the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And the art's reflecting that.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
because if you watch anything from Europe or Asia, like, you're more likely to see intimacy and sex in an Asian film than you are in an American film. So why? You know what I mean? I just watched a Chinese film the other night called 2046 that was made 20 years ago. There's sex in that every 5 minutes. Well, so, like, this idea that the puritanical Chinese don't like America.
It's you.
Please, for the love of God, you're the problem. Right?
I got my mum to
listen
watch
to your Queen Taylor Swift.
Fuck off, Damian.
But she is their queen. They love her.
No, they don't.
They love her, don't they, folks?
He hates her. Anyway, that's not the point. What I was going to say is I got my mum to watch it, and she exists basically only within European television. She doesn't really – she consumes almost nothing American. She loves Canadian, and she really loves European television and movies. And so for her, she was like, oh, this is fine. This is normal. Everybody else, like, I showed Chelsea, and she was like, whoa, that's so much sex. It's so intense. And it's like, no, it's not.
It is in comparison to American
Unless you
TV,
watched Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones had a fair bit of it.
Yeah.
I think it was probably why it was so successful initially.
Exactly.
And then people were like, oh, this story's pretty juicy as well.
And that's what you get into, right? You come in because you, like, get the sex and then you stay for the story.
Yeah.
And the story is this very autistic man who is in a very uncomfortable – I really should have saved this for my queer corner. I should have saved Heated Rivalry for my queer moment. But that's okay.
Well, let's do it now. We're like –
we've gone off topic 55 times.
Yeah, whatever. This is what
I have ADHD and I'm unmedicated.
The idea of having a Spectrum podcast that's got a fucking
a plot,
a run sheet. Come on, man.
No, it's not going
to happen.
No, you're just gonna. Everyone's just going to tune in, listen to us for
go.
Comment.
Yeah, and there might be some nuggets of truth. There might be some lols. You know.
Yeah. And I hope that you can talk along with it and have someone that you feel like is like experiencing it with you, that it doesn't feel alone. Because it's really, and that's what you were saying earlier, right? It's very clinical. The way that people look at being neurodivergent can be very clinical, especially when you're looking from like a doctor or someone who's raising a child. But realistically, at some point, you're going to be an adult and you're going to be sitting there thinking and feeling the way that you do because you are who you are. But it feels very isolated.
Yeah, I felt really lonely. I was really lucky to have, I mean, my wife is ADHD, obviously, but I was really lucky to meet you around the same time.
Yeah.
And have someone at work that I could talk to who completely
For
understood.
Sure.
And I think that was one of the major things about wanting to do the podcast is that I would like people as they, and it's going to happen more and more, get an adult diagnosis in Australia and then go onto their podcast app and pop in autism or whatever, and hopefully we come up and it's like having a couple of friends that you can talk to on the train on the way in or whatever to your fucking job who don't care and aren't interested in accommodating you in any shape or form, or, you know, maybe your family are like, well, there was nothing wrong with you until, you know, for the last 30 years. So I don't know what like all that shit. And having two people that you can, and hopefully eventually we'll start interviewing people who are willing to out themselves as being on the spectrum or whatever. And have those conversations with those people as well, because it's important, you know, like, you know, I got sober and I'm not in AA, but my dad won't mind this. My dad is, and it's been a big part of AA for 30, 35 years in Melbourne. And that's what, that's why AA works, I think,
Yeah.
because the people have
Community.
yes, and they have somewhere where they can go and talk about the stuff that's happened to them that week or how they felt, and
Yeah.
everybody in the room in some shape or form knows what they're going through.
Yeah.
And you know, so to have something like that that's easily accessible for people, especially people on the spectrum who might not be able to leave the home
Yeah.
or whatever, I think is why we wanted to.
I agree
To
100%,
do this, right?
because it does feel very isolated and very like I have to give away such a big part of myself, and like it feels like when I tell someone that I have ADHD, they're going to look at me like differently.
Yeah.
And it's going to be for a couple of different reasons. Maybe it's because they think that because I got diagnosed as an adult that it's all just crap so that I can take Ritalin. I don't. Or it's, you know, people think it's like there's nothing wrong with you. Not really. It's not a real thing. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, great. This is great. This is super helpful for me. Thank you so much. But it doesn't feel like there is that kind of community. And to tell people to find it, I have to give away such a big part of myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I have to like you do really put yourself at risk.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really do. And a lot of people will crush you for
Yeah.
it. Like it's crushing at times where you tell people, you know, so I'm not going to out any of my friends, but there's been, I mean, there's, some friends were like, cool.
Yeah.
And that was it, you know, and the conversation, it's never really come up again. I actually had a friend a couple of weeks ago, like I brought it up and they were like, you got an autism diagnosis? I'm like, yeah, like a year and a half ago. And then they said, oh, that makes a lot of sense. and that is actually a cool reaction.
That's a really great reaction.
I don't have any problem with that reaction. It was like, oh, and then we just moved on.
Yeah.
You know, because I also, you don't want to be, I don't know what I wanted. I don't know whether I wanted people to be like, oh, poor baby. Or I think initially there was a lot of like revisiting trauma.
Yeah.
And being a bit like, I think you'll always sort of be like, why didn't my parents, where were my parents, like, why didn't my parents think that there was something going on here? Or,
I mean, you're a child of the 80s. Were you like what the Americans call like a latchkey kid?
no.
No. Oh, no, you
Well,
weren't.
look, by modern day standards, yeah, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, modern standards are no one's ever alone ever.
In comparison to other kids at the time, no. My mum would not let us pass the end of the street. And even once I got to high school, she was still had a pretty tight leash on me as to like, you can go to your mate's house, but you got to be home by dinner or, you know, and those friends had to live like 10 minutes away.
Yeah, very protective.
Yeah, like you couldn't catch, if the sort of rule was like if you had to catch PT to get there, you couldn't.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
I mean, to be fair, you lived in like Broadmeadows, right?
Yeah. True.
There's a stabbing risk.
I mean, I did get my bike stolen off me twice in Broadmeadows.
I mean, it's Broady. Like it's Broady. To be fair to everybody there, maybe you would have been more of a latchkey kid if it hadn't been Broady.
Yeah, but then mates who I grew up with, who I'm still good friends with, their parents were.
Not everyone's chill about Broady.
They were super chill about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they were out and about doing stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But mum was weird because it was sort of hands off at times, but then other times not at all.
I know that I don't know how much you want to talk about your relationship with your mum and your mum's reaction to your diagnosis and that whole process, but I'd be interested to like know if she was more protective of you because she sensed that like Damian maybe doesn't fit the box of what's expected right now of a child of his age or of, you know, his interests, because you did have stuff that you were doing, you know, inventing AFL Dungeons and Dragons that, and, you know, you were really into music, like you were really into things that you were into and you loved them hard.
Yeah.
Of like, I wonder if it was more protective because she knew that there was that like, Chelsea's mum describes it as that like she was like softer and innocent for longer. That like she at like 13 was desperate to go to a Hilary Duff show and like didn't have an interest in boys and wasn't like getting into like all the stuff that girls were going through at that age period. She was very like committed to her things and wanted to stay like more youthful and just kind of like enjoyed the stuff that she enjoyed. Her mum wanted to protect her from that. So I wonder how much of it is like, did your mum want to even subconsciously protect that like more innocent?
Our mum's always been
joyful
really
part of you.
protective of me and my sister. And, I don't want to give off on this podcast that mum was a bad mum or anything.
No.
like that.
No. I'm sorry. I never meant to
No.
imply that.
I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just sort of I'm reminding myself before I go. And then she did this. She did. But, because it's hard. Like when you're parenting
a weird kid.
Yeah, you're parenting a weird kid. But also,
we were all fucking weird kids.
My dad was drinking then, and so mum was basically on her own a lot of the time, and she's doing the best that she can and all that kind of stuff. And it's easy to pinpoint, 15 to 20 times where you're like, well, I did this, and how come you didn't know? So it's like, well, because there's 1,000 things happening a day, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, with my diagnosis, I think my mum was a bit cold towards it. But if I'm being honest, and mum's never going to listen to this, I'm pretty sure my mum is also autistic and my grandfather was also autistic. And so I think her, 'cause she was a nurse, and so people would sort of put her emotional reactions down to like, well, she's a nurse. She's been a nurse. So like, she's just sort of cold to – no, I'm pretty sure she was autistic. My grandfather wrote the same entry in a diary for 35 years.
This is beautiful. I really love this. Every time you talk, because you've told me about this a couple of times, and I really love it.
Well, me and my mum, when my grandfather passed away, he had these massive diaries, like hard-covered diaries that he would write in every day, and he had to write in it at the same time every day. That in itself should be enough to be like, ding, 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 we have an autistic person. But we read, like, I'm not going to read through every single thing, but we were going through his stuff after he passed away and getting rid of most of it. And we looked up specific dates that we thought would be interesting.
Oh, yeah, like the day you were born, yeah.
The day I was born, the day my sister was born, her cousins, trips that they paid for to take us to Asia.
Yeah.
And even in 1989, our grandparents took me and my sister, my mum and my dad to Thailand, Hong Kong, Singapore, I think.
Lovely.
Beautiful, an amazing thing, blah, blah. My grandpa took his diary with him and wrote the same thing, and it was the same thing every day.
Yeah.
Woke up, went and got the paper, had breakfast, would write down what the breakfast was, read the paper, had lunch, wrote down what the lunch was, went for a walk, had Florence, that's my nana, made blah, blah for dinner, watched blah, blah on TV, in bed by 8:30. And then it was the same fucking entry every time. The day I was born. The day I was born, it was like, Leanne had the baby today.
Yeah.
It's a boy. Had blah, blah for lunch.
Yeah.
Right? And then at the top of every entry was the temperature and how much rainfall there was for every fucking day, even when they were in Asia.
Yeah.
I don't know how he got a rain gauge over there. I don't know how he was finding out how much rainfall there was in Bangkok on the days where
he got the paper.
Yeah, well, obviously, right? Got up, walked down, got the paper, had blah, blah for breakfast. Paper. So I think initially with, and my dad's a psychologist, my mum was a nurse. So I think with both of them, there was an element of like, they know enough about they know enough about spectrum disorders to know, well, he's a smart kid. He's going to read more about it and probably work out that both of us are fucking autistic as well. So I think there was a little bit of pushback from them of like, oh, I don't know. Maybe he's just weird. You know what I mean? Maybe you're just anxious. I will say with my mum, she's a very beautiful lady.
Yeah.
The longer that she sat with the idea that I'm autistic, the cooler she's been with it. It wasn't like she wasn't cool initially. Like she volunteered to do the diagnosis for me. Cal did, because for anyone who doesn't know, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about getting a diagnosis, it's a long process. It took me 2.5 months.
Yeah.
But a mate of mine, it took 6 months. So it can be a really long process. And the psychologists want to speak to people in your life because it's all kind of
it's not just about who you are now. It's also about like who you have been and what how you've grown. And
it's a nervous and psychological disorder. So they can't just open up the back of your brain and have a look and go, yep, you've got autism,
Be convenient.
Yeah, it would be great. I would have preferred that than the process, to be honest. The process was so long and arduous. But mum was quite sort of short with her stuff. But then that's an autistic thing as well. You know what I mean? Because when I think back on it, like they gave her this questionnaire and she just gave like 4-word answers. But that's an autistic thing. Like
She
You know what I
gave
mean? Because
clear,
it was
concise. That's the
clear,
answer.
concise answer. Because there was nothing in the question saying in 100 words.
Yeah.
Say why Damien.
Yeah, and put a flourish on this.
Yeah.
You asked this very straightforward question, and she answered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I've gone off on such a tangent here about this.
Yeah.
But
Electric tangents would have been good, but I do like the idea that
do you like it's this way better?
You've sat down for 45 minutes and you've listened to our podcast where we did go off track. I don't even know how long it's been. It's probably
We're in an hour, so I reckon we try and finish up this part one, and then we'll just press pause and then press record again and just keep talking.
We're
for another hour.
taking 5 minutes. I need to vape.
Yeah, I need to get a coffee.
Yeah. See, we need to realign our brains after spending an hour focused on conversation.
Yeah, I just want to give my mum her hero moment with this.
So, yes, please.
She, it's recently she's just said a couple of things. So, like my nephew, she keeps saying things like, I think Murray, that's our nephew, my nephew, her grandson, is he's a lot like you.
That's a compliment.
And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, oh, he's just very safe and gentle, and he's really into his things.
Yeah.
He loves cars and trucks. He just loves them. Like,
yeah. Does he?
Yeah, it's genetic, Mum.
Yeah.
I'm not the outlier here.
No.
I'll give you the hot tip. I haven't even got started on my dad yet.
Oh,
my dad might actually listen to these if he finds out they exist, so I've got to be a bit careful.
Hi, Damo's dad.
Yeah, so I think he gave me a warning about, or maybe we'll talk about this in the other episode, but he did give me a warning about getting a diagnosis. And at the time, I think I clutched my pearls a little bit. But in hindsight, I think he was just saying, just be careful. Because he did the same thing when I got sober. He's like, you lead with your chin. Like, you just tell everybody everything.
Yeah.
And that can be used against you.
Yeah.
So just be careful. And I immediately was like, my dad's not supporting me. In reality, he actually really was supporting me.
He was like trying to protect you.
Yeah.
Very much trying to protect you.
Yeah, and I went into full 14-year-old emo mode. You know what I mean? It's a sort of fucking
My Chemical Romance is playing.
Yeah, My Cam. I was trying to think of what's that song that gets used on TikTok all the time. I'm
not on TikTok. I can't process the dopamine.
The lead singer killed himself. Chester.
Is that Linkin Park?
Linkin Park. Yeah, full Linkin Park in the background, just screaming in the background. All right, well, let's finish up this episode and then we'll come back for the second half of our intro.
We actually can't yet because I promised earlier there would be a queer corner and then we stopped talking about it and so we could come back to it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Are we going to do it in both episodes? Maybe we do it in the second episode.
Oh, all right.
Oh, okay, I feel bad. I don't want to cut out.
No, it's fine.
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
No, we'll do it in the second episode because then I will have to think of one for the second episode. So.
But I don't want to be brandished as
oh my God, it's homophobic.
Homophobic, draconian co-host cancels Queer Corner in the first episode of the show.
No, we'll save it for episode 2.
All right.
So you have to listen to episode 2 now.
Yeah, you have to listen. And I'm meant to do an autistic rant as well, although I think that's just going to be this show. Guys, thanks for listening to the first episode. This is gloriously chaotic. This is exactly what I wanted it to be.
Absolutely. Now, hopefully maybe you'll cut this in post, but Dames, I think we should end the episode by asking at the same time, do you like us?
Oh, okay.
Do you not like that?
Yeah, I do like it.
All right. So thank you for listening to the podcast.
Do you like us?